to the third episode of our LiT summer specials. The third episode. The special summer podcasts of the Lost in Theater podcast. During these special episodes, we talk about classic films in order to better talk about the films that have slipped through the cracks of pop culture, which is what our usual podcast is about. So, this...
Our usual podcast isn't about popular films.
No, it's about the films that have slipped through the cracks of pop culture.
Yeah.
Bingo. So, I'm really excited about this episode. We're going to talk about one of the most famous animated films outside of, what's the word I'm looking for? Disney, I think.
Oh.
And it's Spirited Away, directed by Miyazaki. Came out in 2001. Now, I had seen Totoro before. Totoro came out in 1988.
Really?
Yeah. It's a bit of a jump there.
Whoa.
1988? You can tell by the vibe. It's so different.
I was literally thinking the opposite.
Oh, really?
I was thinking there are a lot of really similar things still between Totoro and Spirited Away.
Okay, there are similar things, but yes. For those who watch our usual podcast, Ruth has seen the movie for this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm not clueless this time. Although I was mostly last time.
That's true. Yes. But you like Miyazaki films generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
No.
Awesome.
I don't really have favorites of anything.
That's true.
It's a pain in my life. My favorite color was clear.
You did. It was pretty neutral.
Because I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, this is a stupid question. I like them all. I am resentful. I'm going to say clear and insist that clear is a color. Okay, I'm done now.
Okay. So, I had only seen Totoro for a long time. And actually, the first time I saw Totoro, it was in someone's converted garage. And it was raining outside. It was like the perfect Totoro weather.
I don't think that was a converted garage.
Really?
Yeah, that was just part of the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
I was there too.
But I was so young that I was running in and out of the room, so I only got like a third of it.
I was glued.
Ruth loved it. Years later we rewatched it and I still loved it.
The little spirits.
They're little spirit animals. Exactly.
They're called Totoros.
Oh, there you go. The first thing I noticed about this movie, about Spirited Away, was the car sounds. That was the first thing my brain, like, chinked in on as distinctive audibly. The visuals were like Miyazaki visuals. This is normal. But it was something that from Totoro, it is not the same car situation, I thought that the way they drove and the
it is a newer car, yeah.
Yeah, it felt very modern to me.
Yeah.
Which made going into the spirit world such a shift insofar as it felt like going into an ancient world. It felt like going into not an ancient world, but a spirit world.
Ancient?
A different kind of
okay.
Yeah, a different kind of world, one might say.
I gotta say, the parents...
Oh my gosh!
...were so different.
Yeah.
Like, the way the parents existed with the kid, like, they just treated... Their relationship was so different than in Totoro. And I don't think it was an age difference thing.
It wasn't like...
I think it was they're just different kinds of parents.
Different kinds of parents. I didn't identify them as, like, bad parents.
No, I kept thinking, are they bad? No, they're just
not bad.
Different.
They were just different parents.
Different strengths.
Yeah. Like,
different weaknesses.
What's the little girl's name? Chihiro?
Chihiro.
Her anxiety, I could feel it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. The pressure. As someone who stresses about breaking rules myself, it just, astonishingly stressful. The whole thing. When she goes, she's like, I don't want to go in there. That's bad. And then they're like, well, we're going. Yeah. And I'm like, I just don't want to. I can't. Yeah. And then she goes because she doesn't want to be alone because it's scary.
Yeah.
So her holding onto her mom's arm, right? Like, that is one way of, like, pushing your child to do new things. It's gonna be okay. Come with me.
She didn't say, don't hold my arm. She said, not like that.
Yeah, it was very... the child anxiety was just so tangible. Yeah. And the music really helped with that, I thought.
Yes, it did.
I loved the music.
It was really good.
So good. I thought it was more classical than I was anticipating.
Huh.
There was more, like, piano, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe that's not the word. Maybe the word piano isn't the word I'm looking for. It just, it did a really good job. It's, anyways, it did a really good job of evoking, of keeping you on your toes. It didn't trick you. The music didn't trick you.
Yeah.
When there was a moment that was scary, but the music was light, you knew it would be okay.
Yes.
Which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt you psychically in that way. I mean, there's a place for using sounds to, scare people and jolt a person. But this was not one of those movies, so I found that very soothing. Yeah. What did you think of their transformation into pigs? The parents. I forgot to say, this is a disaster. Spoilers! These are full spoiler reviews, for those who didn't know.
That should be in the description.
It will be.
Or the title.
I don't know. But that's different. Our usual podcast is not full spoiler reviews, so if you just stumbled across this video, this will be a full spoiler conversation. So, her parents.
Do you mean like animated wise, or like that it happened?
That it happened. The event.
I saw that coming.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The sounds of when they started eating, but also just like that there is food and no one else. It's classic. It really is classic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now they're pigs.
Yeah. Like, no, it felt...
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
So Grimm's fairy tale, fairy tale-ish. It was actually...
Or Greek.
Yesterday.
Again. I don't know what... Yeah.
I was thinking about it this morning. And I was reminded of... There's that line in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis, where he talks about Eustace going in to get the dragon's gold, and he says, now Eustace hadn't read the stories, fairy tales. He's read all the wrong stories. Yeah. So he didn't know that you're not supposed to take dragon's gold because it's cursed. What was so interesting about this movie, so this idea that when you read stories about, fairies and lore, when you encounter situations that are fairies and lore, you then know what to do.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Well, this one, it was so funny because Chihiro didn't she didn't like give evidence that she had read all these stories, so what it seemed to me more like was this was the story itself.
Yeah.
This is the cautionary tale about going to the other world where, like children, you learn your lesson not to be greedy.
Yeah.
Was that, okay, would you say that was one of the overarching ideas through the film, was the power of greed? Or...
Power of greed? I don't know. It seemed like a growing up movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. When you learn that your parents aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And, like, that you have to do things you don't like and, like, go to school. Like, they say that at the end. Like, I know it's gonna be hard going to a new school, new place. She's like, I think I can handle it.
Right, yeah.
It's like the last words we just hear.
It'll be okay.
I can handle it. You're like, yeah, no kidding after that.
Well, it was odd. Well, yeah, I liked that. I liked the growing up narrative.
And that that love is part of growing up.
Yeah.
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 And, like, greed is a thing throughout it, but it's also like greed is something you should watch out for as an adult.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, that was part of it for me.
I'm not even sure it's greed. I'm not sure what it is.
Or greed or gluttony, this kind of...
Yeah.
I was trying to remember what the opposite of greed is. Not the opposite. Like, if you look at Aristotle's virtue mean... You think it's love?
Yes. Yes. I was thinking even just like the Divine Comedy. You got Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso.
Yeah.
And Caritas. Is just...
means we get charity from that word.
Yeah. Which is very much... She gives.
Yeah.
Like, she did not pick up her parents' like, I'm gonna eat all the food now thing, or like...
Yeah.
She isn't selfish with gifts. Or like... Those really aren't the words. It's...
Because she was scared about being gluttonous. Scared about taking something without permission. And I couldn't figure out if that was a good thing. If it was like exemplifying this... I was reminded of Beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Yeah.
You know? Beware No-Face bearing gold.
But she's not even like afraid of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's just... It doesn't mean anything to her.
Yeah.
Compared to, at least, what she does value already.
Okay, so then I just realized there is a transition from fear to valuing other things instead. Like,
yeah.
I wonder if is there evidence that she would have, I don't know, done the same thing if the pressure wasn't quite as high with Haku dying off in somewhere else land? No, where was he? Haku was upstairs. That's where he was.
Wasn't the transition before that though?
Well, maybe, but she just... I wonder if the pressure wasn't there, if she would have done the same thing.
The pressure to what?
To go up to Haku, if she would have rejected the gold.
Oh. I mean, she wasn't interested. He offered her stuff before.
That's true.
And
she did take that one, though. The one bathhouse thing when she needed it.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I get it. You want these. No. I love that scene where he like has the handful of the bath tokens and they're just like it's like, I understand what you want.
I have
and
gotten
she's like,
everything.
I don't. And he just kind of dissolves and they fall on the floor. I don't know. I love the faces he does and doesn't make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what did you think? He was such a bizarre figure, No-Face, because on the one hand, he was like, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? On the one hand, he had to be like, he's sort of like a vampire. He had to be let into the bathhouse.
I know.
What is going on with No-Face? And then the first thing he eats is the frog.
Yeah.
And he turns into the frog.
Yeah, and I think that really affected his personality.
It did. I was really confused about why him being in the bathhouse hurt him. What if it's... Because he's always giving people things. What if it's a bad kind of charity? A bad kind of love?
I think it is. My thought was almost... I don't think this is quite what's happening, but it almost made me think this is what little kids are like. Like, they don't... No, it doesn't work.
Okay. Well, as opposed to... Because we were just talking about how, you know, you can accept anything or take it, you know.
Yeah.
But you can also give everything.
Oh, I remember what it was. Children are really impressionable. Like, will just absorb. When they're really little, especially.
Yeah.
And they turn into monsters. Except that as you get older, you actually don't have to do that. Except that in this case, he's actively eating people, so I don't think that's quite what's happening.
Yeah. It's a little different.
Yeah, it's very different. But I did have the funny thought. I don't know. It does seem connected to who Chihiro, is.
Okay.
Like, it's weird that he's attached to her in particular.
Yeah.
And I thought it was because, as it went on, I thought it was because she didn't take the things. She wasn't swayed by, like, I don't know. She wasn't participating in the system.
Yeah.
Like, the give-take system.
Mm-hmm.
It was just give. Except that he was interested in her before she had done anything.
Yeah, when she crossed
on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only he saw her.
Yeah. So, and he was very interested.
Very interested. He was like, hello.
What is that?
Yeah. I loved the bathhouse.
Me too.
So much. It was such
there.
a bizarre world, fun
Uh-huh.
thing. Did you have a favorite kind of creature in the bathhouse?
Oh, dang. Yes, the chicks.
I love the chicks too.
The chicks.
Those are my favorite.
All I thought was, oh my gosh, there's so many crammed into that tub, and they're like fluffy.
Love the chicks. They were so funny and so like I remember the first time I saw one walking across the bridge, I was like, chicken.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so round and almost like a duck.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah,
I loved it. I loved it. The other character that was a major standout for me, Radish Spirit.
The Radish Spirit.
For starters, Radish Spirit.
It is a thing.
It was so great. He's so big.
He's so huge.
So huge, and he just sort of stands there.
Uh-huh. And seemed to be on board with her.
So on board. There were a surprising number of people on board with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and on board with her. Okay, the man in the
8-limbed man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Down in the furnace.
The Spider-Man.
With the soot sprites. #return.
Yes!
I was so excited.
I love that they get like built up more.
Had a little freak out about the soot sprites.
I love the bit where they all try to like squish themselves so that she'll do their
she'll
job.
do her job. Oh my goodness.
Like,
if the line was, if they don't work, the spell wears off. And I was like, what? What a backstory.
Is that what it said?
That's what he said.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the soot sprites. One of my personal favorites. But the 8-limbed man was the perfect instance of the feel for the whole film. It was like, okay, it could be creepy.
Right.
It is kind of creepy.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I am not totally
deep,
creeped
visceral
out.
affection for these things.
I'm not. I mean, the initial interaction with him was kind of, alarming, but I wasn't sold on being scared.
Yeah.
Of being creeped out just yet.
It was done so well.
It was, and even the whole going into the spirit world, it was scary. And I remember seeing a commercial for Spirited Away a long time ago and being like, this is creepy. I'm not sure if I want to see this.
Yeah.
And of course the what is her name? Mbabu?
Which one?
The lady upstairs.
Oh, I forgot her name.
I think it might be
Yubaba.
Yubaba contributes to the horrifying factor, of course. But the whole feel was less creepy than I thought it was going to be when it was sort of all put together and it invited you in. Maybe it was the warm colors and the fact that a bathhouse isn't scary. I don't know. They're all just going. Also, the bathhouse of the spirit world. What kind of a setting is that?
I love it. I love it so much.
Do you happen to know, are bathhouses a thing in Japan?
Yeah.
Like,
they're not like that anymore.
Yeah. Were they that sort of thing? When I think of bathhouses or I think of there's Turkish baths, Roman baths. There's a history of bathing, cultural bathing.
And Japan and not so much China that I think about it, but definitely Japan. China has their own similar tradition. But yeah, Japan has a really, really strong bathhouse tradition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It was,
I mean,
loved
to the
it.
extent, you'd think of how it gets developed now is that there is like a public bathhouse still. They're not really as
more like a pool?
popular. well, the ones that are pools are also like theme parks. Like a...
That's just the best. Just the best.
Oh.
I love it.
But the way bathrooms work in Japan, a lot of them, most of them, is that the whole room is waterproof. It's like when you buy, you can't just buy a toilet or a bathtub unit. It's like all of this is connected in like a box room, and that is what gets installed.
Wow.
And it has like a built-in vent and like heating, and
it's so exciting.
So the whole room is like waterproof shower steam sort of thing.
I love that.
You don't really have a bath. It's interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
You dump water on yourself.
Yeah. Well,
because you'd go, it's part of like a tradition of like you would go to the bathhouse for the bath, not your regular shower.
Not your regular shower.
Yeah. Of course, they're more combined now.
Oh yes, like, of course.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, when the swamp, what did they call that? The stink spirit who comes in and is just so.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I realized 2 things. No, I didn't. Just first thing, I just have a thought. It was so gross. The splooging out, the weird multicolor gunk that filled everything. Also, because it turns out it's not a stink spirit.
Yeah.
Turns out is it a river spirit?
Yeah, it's the river spirit.
Okay.
It's a river spirit.
And that's the same thing, again, spoilers, that Haku is.
Yes.
I didn't realize that until the end. Actually, until this morning, that they were the same sort of spirit.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, Haku.
I think he was supposed to be a clue for Haku.
Okay. Yeah. With the, that makes sense, because when he did turn out to be River Spirit, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is he a River Spirit? I don't understand.
I had the fortune of just having been reading through a webcomic that covers how water spirits work, actually.
Oh.
And specifically Chinese water spirits. They are dragons.
Okay.
And, like, there's this whole ascension process. And the dragon of the Hanfu River or whatever.
Yeah.
Hanfu is in a river. That's not a thing.
Oh, dear.
That's a piece of clothing.
Oh. Yeah.
And, although I guess that'd be neat. That'd be pretty.
So the dragons and the rivers are connected.
Yeah. They're called something else until they ascend to a position over a river.
Oh.
And then they're a dragon of the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it overlaps with Japanese culture. I don't actually know, though.
Oh. It is interesting, though, that the dragon... Okay, the flying dragon animation was so disconcerting to me. I thought it was an eel, okay? When he turned into the dragon the first time and she looks up and she's like, Haku! And he's turned into the dragon and is floating away.
Thing?
And I was like, he's like, wow, he's a dragon. And I said, that is the most helpful thing you could have said to me.
Yeah.
I would have said he was, an eel.
A silverfish.
Or something. Something in the air.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't have I would have thought it would be like a strand of something, it's like Charlotte's Web, a strand of, what is that, web?
Uh-huh.
When they all go off?
Yeah.
Into the sunset?
Yeah.
It was so... I loved that he was a dragon. And when you saw him up close, of course, he looked like a dragon. But then additionally, when they were shots of him flying, the way that the wind moved his body did not connect with my brain. I think we're just so aerodynamic these days.
You and me?
No. The way that we design flying things.
Oh.
We want straight lines.
Yeah.
It doesn't make or even
Haku is wiggly.
They're based off birds mostly. Yeah. Perhaps it's Western, I don't know. But our image of flying is very bird oriented. What else would it be based off of?
Water creatures.
Water creatures.
Ours seem to be more sleek than birds.
Yes, of course. I think it's gotten sleeker, but it's still the general structure is the wing structure, which there isn't. I can't think of some
flippers.
It's true. That's why it looked like an eel, though, because you were like water imitation of the. I just don't think of flying things as like corkscrewing quite like that.
Yeah, I know.
And of course, when he comes back and he's injured, he's obviously corkscrewing more. But even when he flies normally, I just thought, like, my brain was very disconcerted.
Granny is lethal.
Additionally, yeah, Granny.
Granny tried to kill Haku.
Were there two or one?
Two.
Because
they're sisters.
They said they were twin sisters, but then she calls them both Granny.
Oh, good point.
That's what the reason I was the one, because I watched it with our mom, and she was kind of confused, and I was like, no, there's two of them, twin sisters, and I was like, yep, okay. And then at the end, she's like, says something about, what a test, Granny, or something.
Yeah.
And I was just thought that maybe
I thought it was part of learning to have manners.
Oh, because she doesn't have manners when she first comes to Yubaba. You call
people by their names, like their appropriate titles.
Yeah.
And
sister.
No. Yeah. So I thought it was just an acknowledgement that, one, she met her sister, and two, she knows who she is and her actual role.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In society. Not even her role with respect to herself, but like her actual position is Granny. Yeah.
Okay. And
that's my theory.
We should talk about Yubaba. And actually besides the ducks, which I loved.
I kind of like her.
Yeah, the scene that got me, that I was like, so I didn't really like her.
Yeah, no.
But I liked some of her visuals, and the one after the ducks that I loved most is when she wraps herself in her tunic, and it's just her huge nose sticking out, and I thought, what a warm bird creature. And then she...
Yeah!
It's so good! Oh my goodness! But the problem is the sound of her flapping. At one point, I turned to Mom and I went, it sounds like a person with congestion running when she flaps. And I thought, isn't that a funny sound for a flap? I did. I thought it was an interesting flapping sound, personally. Anyways, she also reminded me and Mom of the Queen of Hearts from the Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, because she has that overlarge head, and that sort of pompous.
I never figured out what that imagery is. I mean, like
the queen with the big
expression.
Head.
You've got a swollen head
or a big head, yeah.
What is that? I never really figured out what that meant. Like pride?
Yeah, full of oneself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I agree, it is particularly the queen with the large head image, or the lady in charge with the large head. I didn't know it was a theme.
Yeah.
But apparently it is, based off of these singular two queens that we have been discussing briefly. And actually...
This is where chibi develops out of.
Chibi?
Large head, little body, cuteness, huge eyes. Do you know the style?
Oh,
chibi
yeah,
style?
I do.
Yeah.
I do know.
I made up that it comes from there. I was just thinking, like,
What a fascinating comparison. I didn't know that was the word associated.
Oh, yeah.
The thing, actually, that most disconcerted me about the whole film, the surprise. And I told this again, I was speaking with Mom about this because, like I said, we watched it together. What I did not see coming from a mile away was the baby.
What do you mean?
Okay. When the baby turned into a mouse, I was on that one. I could sort of see when the Yubaba was doing the Yubaba scariness. I could see, even once the baby was introduced, the dynamic between Yubaba and the baby, that checked out. But when the baby was first introduced, it blindsided me. I just did not think there was gonna be a baby that huge, or any baby, in this movie at all.
Oh.
I just... the bathhouse, and when new things were introduced, you can incorporate them, and it's fine, and we're in this spirit world, it's whatever, but the baby was just baffling to me.
Yeah.
I was really kind of weirded out by the baby. And I loved what they did with it.
I have an explanation for that one.
Yeah.
I think it comes from some mythology.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, it almost makes you think of, like, Rumpelstiltskin, and if he got the baby, and it's like, I'm stuck with this baby. I didn't mean to.
Oh, no.
I didn't, but I love it now. Like, yeah. It does seem like she took someone's baby.
Yeah, and now it's huge and stuck in its poor room.
Or a giant baby? I don't know. But it does seem like its state is infant. It doesn't grow.
Yeah.
So...
It's a mythical baby.
I mean, maybe it's representative of, like, something about herself?
Maybe. Okay, well, what about... Okay, the love... If we're doing with the love theme, the multiple kinds of love in this movie, the love between that Yubaba has for the baby isn't the right kind of love either. This kind of keeping the baby from getting places, essentially making it one of her toys or playthings that she has to keep from going chaotic. I think the parts that made me laugh most were when the mini bird Yubaba and the mouse had a team up on the train. Yeah. Everything from the train onward with that was my favorite. I love their little.
They're adorable.
They're so good. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. And yes, the we haven't talked about Lynn, her friend, at all.
I like Lynn.
She's so relaxed. I just was what is her name? It's a great name and I always forget it. Chihiro. If Chihiro did those things next to me, I would be like, are you okay? Are you gonna be fine? She's like, sometimes she's crying or she's like bending over sick or like shouting or spitting something out or something. I would be like, do you need any assistance? How can I help you, child? Hugs, patting, maybe lay down. I don't know. I'm a very person.
And she's not unsympathetic.
Oh no, she's so sympathetic, but she's also so relaxed. Yeah. She's like, is anything wrong? And you're like, what? You just
love it.
Calm. The one thing though that I noticed was when the gold starts getting given out by No Face, Lynn also rushes to get the thing. Yeah. And it's interesting because that means that the distinction between Lynn and her parents is in how they treat Chihiro. Because Lynn's behavior is more motherly. I don't know, what I would have expected of like Satsuki and Mei's dad. In Lynn form. Very Satsuki and Mei are from My Neighbor Totoro. Yeah. And I would have expected that behavior of the mom at the beginning, which again we said not bad necessarily, just different. And so it's they have different ways of treating her, but they both have this sort of fault of wanting to take this gold. Or is that the fault, wanting to take the gold?
I think it's the nature of spirits. Actually, is that this is why Chihiro is different. She actually has choices and different sets of what she can love, like actually love.
Okay.
And I think spirits can't do that.
Or parents. I don't know.
That's why I wonder if that's why it's such a folly for humans, and their punishment is so much weirder and worse, is because they actually do have the capacity for something so great.
Whereas the spirits just get eaten by No Face and then barfed back out.
They seem completely unaffected by
They did seem unaffected.
Which is par for the course for
They're just
spirits.
ruining the bathhouse disastrously.
I love how No Face just vomits up the people.
Yeah.
They're just so like... It was such a satisfying little animation when the frog came out. Yeah. Just like this little compact blip. And then
There
he
he
just
goes.
swims away.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah.
It is lovely. One of my favorite lines in the whole thing is when Haku cuts Yubaba's sister in half.
Uh-huh.
She goes, "Ow, paper cut." I was like, what a line.
She too was way more laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow, paper cut. Again, additionally, one of my favorite scenes was down in the coal cellar after Haku's been hurt, and they're down there, and he spits out the thing, and Chihiro squishes it, and then there's a really serious moment going on. Switch to the soot sprites and the baby mouse, reenacting the whole scene just on the ground. Down to the cutting of the curse when he does the 8-armed man does it for her, but then the mouse does it, and then the soot sprite cuts it for her. It's gold. I loved it so much. Another thing about Yubaba though.
Not gold. We don't love gold.
No. It is funny, like you were saying, it is very like Grimm's fairy tale, in that when you do something wrong, it changes. It's the outward showing of your inward character.
Yeah.
When you pig out, you turn into a pig. You know, when you take gold, you're eaten by No Face. The outward showing of your inward character.
I know, you're consumed.
Yeah, you're consumed. Thank you. I do appreciate that. No.
They're so easily consumed.
When Yubaba seems so powerful at the beginning, and she is powerful, but when I think one of the most powerful things is when No Face and even the stink spirit, they kind of defeat her.
Yeah.
No Face like barfs all of his stuff on her and squishes her.
Yeah.
And in my mind I was like, well, that means she's not perfect. She could have stopped it somehow. And it was funny.
She was going to.
It kind of mitigated it to me, her unbeatable behavior. I don't know. Oh, Zeniba is the name of the sister. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting, showing her, realizing it reveals that she's not actually as strong as she thinks she is. She's still just
she just has particular domains. I think that's more what it is.
Yeah.
She's very good at being showy, and insofar as you believe the show, she has power over you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And it is real power, but like you have to notice it.
If you notice,
whereas like No Face and the river spirit kind of are not even paying attention.
They've got their own things going on.
They're just it's just like, I need to bathe.
Let me bathe.
I am ill and vomiting. So it's just kind of
yeah. Poor buddy. That's actually interesting because they talk about how Yaku, one of the reasons, he couldn't find Haku. Thank you. One of the reasons he couldn't find his way home is because they had filled in the river and like built on it, and the water spirit came to get bathed, and when they bathed him, it was basically they depolluted him. Yeah, they got the pollution out of the river, which I thought was a fascinating.
I liked that scene a lot.
Yeah, it was nice. A nice. Our guest is still here. Calm down. It was interesting the whole story is sort of the love at the end. Love breaking the spell of Zeniba. It's odd because on the one hand, it's kind of stereotypical. Like, we talk about Disney movies. Mm-hmm. The answer is always love, you know. Love conquers all.
But it's such a different kind of love.
Why do you say that?
Because, one, the object of her love is an object, not a person.
What's the object?
A river. She loves a river.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know. Who is a person? It's not a romantic kind of love at all.
It wasn't romantic. It was close to romantic. It was very odd.
I think we, in our Western hyper whatever, would mistake it for romantic, and I don't think it was at all supposed to be like that, or hint at it.
Like Wind in the Willows, Ratty in the River.
Yeah, yeah.
How he just loves the river.
That did remind me actually of My Neighbor Totoro and how you can have a love for nature. Yeah, and it's a real love. It's not just like, I like the river a lot. You can actually call that a love, a kind of love, and it's not without its own power.
Yeah.
Or value. That's worth more than gold.
Yes. It is, isn't it? Now, there was some representation in this film that I'd like to discuss.
Okay.
And it was the knitting representation.
The knitting representation?
At the end?
Yeah.
Zeniba's knitting. And my mom, our mother who knits, immediately said, she's knitting. And I had to bring it up. It's always good when people knit, I think, in movies.
Usually.
Encourage craft knitting for everybody participates in the creation of the yarn and the hay and stuff and the hairband.
And it's still with her at the end.
At the end, that was my favorite shot.
Yes.
Is her at the end with the purple hairband.
When she's about to look back and then it glints and she remembers, no, don't look back.
That, of course, reminiscent not only of Sodom and Gomorrah and the chaos Lot's wife.
Wasn't thinking of that at all.
You didn't think of Lot's wife?
I was thinking of the other one.
Orpheus?
Orpheus, yeah.
Yes. Those are the two great Don't Look Back stories.
I really don't think Sodom and Gomorrah applies here.
Oh, no. No. I don't think...
Oh, wait.
It doesn't in the same way. No, but the
city, though.
The Don't Look Back idea.
Don't look back, even at the city where...
You're going?
No.
Oh.
Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed for a lot of reasons, but,
sure.
like, selfishness could be, like, the culmination of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I mean, even the idea that, you look back and something happens to you. What is going to happen to you? And I would have thought something would have happened to her personally. Yeah. Not that she would have lost something, like Orpheus looks back and loses his wife. Right. Which is very vivid, of course. Painful, tragic. Yeah. But, the Don't Look Back was very, what did you think of the funny prayer at the beginning? When she can't move her legs.
Oh, in the name of the wind and the water that within you. That
binds you or something.
No, it was like within her.
Oh, yeah. Was it within her?
That flow within you.
I don't know.
Yeah. I remember that bit.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It was
like have power over your own body.
It's a funny little prayer, I thought. Not funny. No, because there's no prayer throughout the rest of it. Yeah. It was a very...
I stuck it in the same category as the little now break it thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as in, like, these are all the little superstitions that go in order to have manners toward nature. And yourself.
Manners toward nature. Yeah.
Or just not manners toward nature. I don't know what it is.
I liked your thought, though, that, she calls her granny at the end. At the beginning, she's accused of not having any manners. Yeah. When she first goes to see you, Baba.
Baba's scary.
Scary, man. Scary. The whole thing also reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, of course. Yeah. Very trippy. Very down the rabbit hole. We've come out the other side and crazy things are happening. Although differently, I think she was actually in there for several days. Because they come back and the car is all covered with leaves. Yeah. So it does seem...
They missed the movers.
It does seem that there was passage of time. Yeah. Unlike Alice, where...
Like actual 3 days or something?
Yeah. They're which I love the fact that the daytime is the nighttime and the nighttime is the daytime because it's the night spirits. Yeah. Ta-da! Yeah, it was just a different sort of... you do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
What?
It's a different... it is different in that way. That sometimes it's tangible. Mm-hmm. But in Alice in Wonderland it wasn't. She just wakes up.
I thought it was interesting that eating things didn't trap you in the world.
That's the opposite of Persephone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's not the underworld.
If you eat something.
Yeah.
In fact, it gives you strength.
Yeah.
He gave her dumplings, which looked exactly like your dumplings.
My dumplings?
Yeah, they were triangular. Rice.
Oh, you mean the rice balls?
Rice balls, yes.
I was like, the dumplings are different.
Sorry. Rice balls.
Yeah.
Yes, I suddenly... the thing about rice balls is that I would expect them to be spherical.
If you want them to be, they could be. But
it's the definition of a ball. Is that it's spherical.
It's more just clumped together.
That's what I'm learning. It just
doesn't translate well, okay?
Okay. Okay. Anyways, so that was nice. Alice in Wonderland, where it's interesting because Alice in Wonderland, when you eat things, it also affects you. You know, eat me, drink me, and it changes your growth and your...
It is more like Alice in Wonderland like that, yeah.
Yeah. Now, unlike Alice in Wonderland, well, more like I feel the things you've been saying about love and, for lack of a better word, environmentalism. No, respect of nature. Those sort of themes throughout. There's more themes than in Alice in Wonderland. I think Alice in Wonderland is very chaotic. The themes are lacking in a big way.
We should read it again.
We listened to it many times. It was a great audiobook version.
I listened to it like once.
By Jim Dale. Only one of the greatest audiobook people of all time.
True.
Well, any closing thoughts? Oh, the end, of course. We should talk about the end with her getting her parents back. I think, okay, one of the things I did that has made the film not stressful was that it was sort of stressful when she shows up and has to give back the thing to her sisters and Eva, but that turns out not to be a problem. And then she's flying through the air, and suddenly she remembers his name. There isn't any sort of... I feel like normally in movies, even kids' movies, there's a conflict that needs to be resolved for someone to remember who they are. Whereas that doesn't really happen in the same way. I felt like it was a very sort of, oh, I've remembered. Which is odd for these sorts of films.
Well, she was writing on him.
Yeah.
So it cued that memory.
She'd written on him once before. Yeah. Down
this is familiar and it feels like water. Because she'd had that flashback before.
The water in the air.
Yeah.
Just like you said. It all makes sense now.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And her, of course, guessing that none of them were her parents, and then they're all like, "You're right."
I like that we can't tell.
Yeah.
Which ones her parents are. That it's actually her.
Yeah.
Who can tell, and not us.
It is good.
Yeah.
I do like that.
I can see why that would be frustrating to someone.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell. They're just making it up. She's just like...
I didn't notice that. I like that idea, though.
Yeah.
But she knows.
Yeah.
Because it matters.
And she was told to remember which ones.
Yeah.
Because Haku was like, remember, these two.
Yeah. These are the ones.
Yeah. And we don't really get a good look at them. Like, there's no identifying thing.
Yeah. It's not important for us.
Yeah.
Per se. I also like that the whole bathhouse is now on her side.
Yes! Yeah.
And you get to see the radish spirit at the end.
Oh,
I loved it.
So
I just loved it. So good.
Yeah.
Happy times.
I would watch it again.
Really?
Like a couple more times.
I think I need to take a break before I watch it again. I need to sort of recapitulate myself. I can go back to the bathhouse. I just need to go back.
I want to
later.
Like draw the characters for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the radish spirit.
The radish spirit and the chicken duck spirits. Yes. They're lovely.
The chickies.
And those weird amoeba things. They're like circular. They look like circus tents.
See, I gotta watch it again.
And they've got like dots and things.
I remember.
I love them so much.
The ones that were just masks that came off the train.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they like unfolded and had their little. robes.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
We could talk about how Spirited Away is like the Odyssey, and My Neighbor Totoro is like the Iliad.
You think?
Yeah. What makes them different is similar in, like, the types of stories they're telling.
I think you're correct.
I just noticed that, and I can't really explain why that's the case.
Oh, well, because the
Totally.
Odyssey is a there and back again adventure.
Oh, but it's so much more complicated.
And the Iliad
There's,
is
like,
a locationally specific adventure. It's the difference between the water and the forest.
No.
I tried!
You could try.
Thank you. Okay, do you prefer Totoro or Spirited Away? I think, because more often people say, I feel like when statistics come out, people are like, Spirited Away is the most loved Miyazaki film. And
I believe it.
And then I always say, but what about Totoro? I love Totoro.
And I think it's the same people who would prefer the Odyssey over the Iliad. Would be like, I prefer Spirited Away.
Let's just take a survey today. The mass population about...
Do it on Instagram.
I should.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you can follow us on Instagram at Lost in Theaters, Twitter, and Facebook. This episode will be on YouTube, but our other episodes are all on podcast platforms, and that's where you can find them. And they will be slowly uploaded to YouTube as well. Yes. Should we close with a song?
Was that a rhetorical question?
Yeah. You think we should close with a song? I'm the radish spirit. Boom, boom. And I go up the elevator. I'm the radish spirit. Bum. I guess we'll have to say see you later. Boom.
Goodbye!
Everybody, thanks for watching.